Hey guys, welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today is Perri Nemiroff.
Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Surprise, I'm back in the hosting seat. John Campia is a very busy man handling a bajillion things today, and he was kind enough to let me lead the show again. Thankfully, I have two guys to my left who I know will help me out. One to my right, I'm not quite sure about. I think I've turned him around, though, so it should be a good show.
Also here is Jon Schnepp.
Yeah, Campia is busy. I mean, the Betty Ford Clinic is booked, and he's on the phone with the dude. He's trying to talk him off a ledge. We can't really get into it. A lot of stuff went down this week. Phone calls were made. There was a lot of yelling and screaming. I've already said too much.
Also here is Jeremy Jahns.
That would be a metric bajillion. That's an actual form of measurement, like a parsec, which is a measurement of distance, not time.
Also here is Mark Ellis.
Oh boy, Perry's hosting.
See what I mean? See what I mean?
Ice cold, Mark. Ice cold.
All right.
According
to THR.
Let's get started here.
All right, let's
What's
do this.
first?
According to THR, Disney has hired whale writer helmer Niki Caro to direct its live-action Mulan film based on the popular 1998 animated feature. Caro previously worked with Disney on the sports drama McFarlane USA and was on the short list to direct Captain Marvel for the studio. Disney is aiming for a culturally sensitive movie with the project and is bringing on Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon producer Bill Kong as executive producer to help guide the project. A release date has not been set. Perri, thoughts on Niki Caro directing Mulan for Disney?
I don't think there's really any reason to think negatively. She's got, the three feature films, or at least the most well-known ones, that they're all solid movies. I can't say I've seen Whale Rider or North Country in a while, so I can't really remember the specifics of her style, but I am confident in her as a director, and it's, I'm not really sure what was true in terms of shortlists regarding Captain Marvel, but it seems like if she was in the circle for that movie, then Disney would have considered her for other things. So I kind of hope that means the short list for Captain Marvel was accurate, and all the great names we heard in that conversation are either going to land on that movie or other Disney projects. So I'm hyped about this, and it's also just really exciting that I believe this is the second film budgeted over $100 million that is being given to a female director after Ava DuVernay for A Wrinkle in Time, and that's just a really cool thing. I don't really think there's anyone better that I could imagine beyond Niki Caro, so I'm all for it. Schnepp, what are you thinking?
Well, I mean, this is the second Mulan film. There's two going on, but this is the Disney Mulan, so I think Caro is going to be a great director. I'm not too familiar with her other work, but as far as her directing Captain Marvel, I don't know. We'll just have to see.
Jeremy, are you up for this?
Yeah, I'm in your boat, Schnepp. I'm like, I haven't really seen her other works, but she definitely has the credentials behind her. I'm glad they got some Crouching Tiger folks in on this, original Crouching Tiger folks in on this, because it's great when you can enhance that which makes these Disney movies different. You don't want them to feel like cookie cutter stuff, so if you can enhance the culture of Mulan, I think that would be really cool. I saw Mulan way later in life, and I think I've seen it once, and so I remember liking it, but this is shaping up to be good. And Mulan, like the Jungle Book, has another company doing its own little. Right. That's a tough hill to climb. I'm not gonna lie, especially since after the Jungle Book they were like, yeah, that's still happening. We'll see. So we'll see how it goes with the two Mulan movies also. Actually, I like that.
Especially when you're going up against Disney of all companies. Right. It's like that really isn't a battle you could win.
I would go with the second Mulan should just be like a spoken word poetry thing with maybe like two people shot against a green screen. Just, because you're going to lose money. I think the Disney one is going to destroy.
I think it should be a hard-rated R battle. Like we're talking a bloodbath, right? They're like, we're not Disney. We might as well commit to this angle. Let's just give us something completely different.
All right, Ellis, here's an easy question for you. Mulan's Disney versus Sony's Disney. who's going to win?
Well, Perri, I am definitely going to go with Disney's Mulan is going to crush it. I think Niki Caro is a very good choice for this movie. I'm a little disappointed that they couldn't find a Chinese director. I think that would have been a great thing because they're being so culturally sensitive and they want to have a primarily Chinese cast. I'm happy that they have Kong on board so that he can at least be an executive producer and shepherd what Niki Caro's vision is. It's also disappointing from the perspective of I really wanted her to be the director of Captain Marvel. I think there's other directors you can find that would be great, but I'd love to see a female of prominence direct Captain Marvel as well. It's nice to see it's nice that we're having these conversations though. So I'm happy to see this. I think Whale Rider was a great step forward. I really like McFarlane USA too. That was a really cool, nice little movie. I think she's ready to step up to the big time. And when you are the director of a Disney live-action movie on the scale of what Mulan is going to be, that's a huge movie. I think she's going to be able to pull it off great.
A cool fact, one of the other directors who's on the short list for Captain Marvel, Rebecca Thomas, who actually graduated from the same program I did. I don't know if it's true, again, that she was on that short list, but even though that might not pan out, she's directing one of the episodes of Stranger Things. So it's like all these really talented ladies are still getting other great projects. So I think we're in pretty good shape.
Ellis.
Jahns.
Over 200 million opening weekend?
Oh, boy.
Nah, sorry.
150?
You guys act like I'm just throwing out $200 million opening weekends willy-nilly. Beauty and the Beast is doing it, and I don't know that another movie's going to do it until The Last Jedi comes out.
No way.
A lot of thought went into this. A lot of
planning,
sketching.
a lot of calculations, a lot of potions mixing.
Yeah. Sure. It's not happening. Ashley, what's next?
Another Team Thor video has been released as part of a special feature on the recent Doctor Strange Blu-ray. The video gives us another glimpse of what Thor has been up to since the events of Civil War, showing us a beach bum like Thor hanging out with Daryl and trying to sell some of his Asgardian coins to fund his earthly lifestyle. The video is just a small tease for all the special features found on the Doctor Strange Blu-ray, which will be released in 2 weeks on February 28th. Jeremy, what do you think of the new Team Thor video?
I think it's great that Beach Bum Thor is throwing out the currency of a metric gazillionaire. Everyone here is doing it, and so is Thor. These are really funny videos. The one where he's like working out, he's like, people ask me about Civil War. I don't know, what wasn't that, right? And then this one where he's like, these are Asgardian coins. Boom, you're a gazillionaire. Boom, you're a gazillionaire. The guy's like, I can't do anything with these. I thought actually it was more thought-provoking to me. I'm like, that's interesting. Currency in one place holds no bar anywhere else. If it's not seen as currency, what is money really? It's a construct. It only has power because people say it's worth something. But if it's not, my God, Schnepp, if everyone said money's not worth anything, it's just paper. Help us all. I thought that was really cool.
Then we'd all just get along.
Yeah, right. And then we'd all just be like, we have nothing to fight about. Whatever.
We'd all just buy stuff with all the extra Valentine's Day candy hearts that are floating around this office. Let's determine that is currency. This office is rich.
Yes.
High fives and candy hearts should be the currency of space
Rich
and
in
time.
horrible powdered death.
No, I really
Those
did like
candy
it, though. I
hearts.
really thought this was really funny. This is like, it's just a fun viral marketing thing that they're doing, and they're doing it in a good way. It kind of makes Thor this like a douchey narcissist, and he just like rides off on his bike like he's I love it. I think it's great.
Is it just fun though? Schnepp, is probably a good question for you.
He's like, no, it's canon.
But really, is it canon? Because Taika Waititi, I think, once has said that this character Daryl is gonna have a larger role. I don't know if that just means expect to see more fun shorts with him as a bonus feature on a DVD, but maybe he'll pop up in the movie.
I would watch a half-hour television series about Daryl and Thor's adventures. I think, you know what, this is showing you that I think Thor Ragnarok is not afraid to have a lighter touch, and it's also showing you how funny Chris Hemsworth is. That guy is comedy gold. He should stop being in dumb movies like Black Hat and just get in on the comedy action. I mean, that's what I think. I mean, he's really funny. His delivery is great. He can make fun of himself in a way that doesn't feel weird. It's just, he's naturally funny is what I'm trying to say. And I'd like to see more of that. I don't know if I want to see a comedy called Thor Ragnarok. I'd like it to be mainly serious. But, I mean, with Taika involved, we're going to have that moments and good parts of humor involved. So
I was so bored in Black Hat that I took off a really nice wristwatch I had, and I was like futzing around with it the entire time. And then I got really sleepy, and it kind of like dribbled off my lap, and I left it in the movie theater, and I went back and never found it again. I will never forgive Black Hat the movie for the loss of that watch. It broke my heart.
That's not Hemsworth.
I will. Chris Hemsworth gets a pass in just about everything he does in my book because he is not half bad to look at, and he is so damn funny. He is so funny in this. obviously the dialogue in this thing is hilarious, but it's his delivery when he's like what does he say? Muscles are like brains or something,
Yeah,
and
he's like,
brains,
"That's
brains,
right."
brains, and
I'm all brains.
and like gazillions and gazillions. I could watch this over and over, and I think this thing is just a teaser for the full thing that you're going to get if you buy the Doctor Strange Blu-ray. I already have a Doctor Strange DVD thanks to award screeners, but I would actually buy the Blu-ray just to see the full thing, assuming it doesn't wind up online. But if this thing, I believe this one was also directed by Taika Waititi, and I have a feeling this is him just going full his style, his brand of comedy, and we're not going to get this in Ragnarok. But if he brings just even the slightest bit of his unique comedic touch to that movie, it could feel super unique along the lines of James Gunn doing Guardians of the Galaxy. So I actually think even though it's disconnected, this bodes well for Ragnarok. Ellis, what do you think?
I think that we're going to get some sort of Daryl cameo in Thor Ragnarok. I think it's going to be like, yes, there's going to be a road trip element to it, and Thor and Hulk are very funny together. It's going to be primarily a serious movie. There's a lot of scary, cataclysmic events that are going to take place in Thor Ragnarok, but to have these videos, I mean, you can have wristwatches, you can have Asgardian coins. The one currency that makes the world go round is humor. And this video is so funny. In the same way that I love Batman because it was able to give us Lego Batman, I love these things, and I would take a series. I would take a Parks and Rec style series with Thor and Daryl and their adventures. It is just that funny to me. It's great that we have this serious world that we take so it's oh no, is this canon? Is this not canon? Everything is so important, and then you just get to lampoon all of it and have fans respond to it. It's great. I love seeing this stuff.
I seriously would watch that who wouldn't want to see these guys on their days off? I mean, it's conversations I've had with countless people where, we get the big blockbuster movies, and what's the perfect, opposite of that is just seeing them on their days off. And this kind of format suits that so perfectly.
I also see them being not afraid to take a little page out of Deadpool, and like have a little bit more fun with their characters, even though the film itself might not be in this comedy zone. The last two spots are total comedy, and they're great, and they work within the universe.
You all think we're going to see Daryl in Thor Ragnarok? Do you think he's actually going to make an appearance in the film?
I would like to see an
Somewhere.
appearance of Daryl.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I think so too. I
End
think that's what
credits.
he was teasing also.
Yeah, end credit sequence.
If for nothing else, we're
Never
going to
know.
find out, like, ooh, they're doing reshoots? No, they're just adding the one guy.
They're just adding Daryl.
That's the
Daryl.
entirety of the reshoot.
Yeah,
It's
right.
adding Daryl into one scene where he just walks out of a store and when Thor flies off and
Yeah.
does whatever.
If we cover those reshoots, that'll be the best reshoot coverage we've ever done. All right, let's move on to buy or sell, the time of the show when we talk about a story and say whether or not we're going to buy or sell it. Ashley, what's first up there?
More Marvel goodness as the studio has released new concept art from its upcoming Thor Ragnarok and Black Panther movies. Featured on the Doctor Strange Blu-ray, the new look at Thor includes Thor taking on Hulk in a gladiator match, along with a new look at Thor and Loki taking on Hela, played in the movie by Cate Blanchett. We also have glimpses of Black Panther played in the movie by Chadwick Boseman, along with an expansive look at Wakanda. Thor Ragnarok is set for release this November 3rd, with Black Panther dropping next year on February 16, 2018. Schnepp, buy or sell the new concept art for Thor Ragnarok and Black Panther?
Big buy for me. I mean, I just, sometimes you wake up in the morning and you get a special little present in the mail, and I was like, what? They dropped all this cool concept art. That to me is like it's a beginning of a fun day. Like seeing Hela with Loki and Thor. Literally, it's like, oh, so they're going to hang out with Doctor Strange, and then she's going to show up and banish Thor to Ragnarok, because obviously they're in New York or something you see from the background. That's not Asgard. So, I think the Black Panther looks incredibly interesting as well. I mean, seeing the kind of sets they're going for and the style and the look of it. I mean, look, I'm already jazzed up for Thor Ragnarok, but now I'm like equally jazzed for Black Panther, just seeing what they're doing. So.
When you started that, I thought you meant you actually got physical copies of the concept art in the mail, and I started to get really jealous. And then I saw where you were
Perri,
going.
I don't believe in physical items anymore. Everything's digital. Just kidding.
No way.
I love
No
physical
way.
items.
Especially concept art. I love good artwork across the board for some reason, though. Concept art is just so damn unique and stunning looking. I
Perri,
want to hang all that on my wall.
Let me make you incredibly jealous. I went to a Comic-Con recently and got the Ralph McQuarrie original concept art from Star Wars. It's like 30 prints that are amazing.
That's actually really cool. You frame them? Are they up on your wall?
Not yet.
All right, they will be.
I want to
I
see
will
a
give you
picture
8
of that.
Asgardian coins.
You're a gazillionaire.
It's a good deal.
Boom, you're a gazillionaire.
All right.
Knowledge is power,
Let's talk
Schnepp.
about it.
That's power.
That's right.
Power.
But these really do look great. It's exciting to see the Black Panther stuff in particular, just because it looks so different. It's like got a touch of what we have seen before, so it feels like it could fit within the MCU we know today. But there's so much in there that is so incredibly unique. I mean, this one with the maze, something about that has a little bit of a Doctor Strange vibe to it. I don't know if that's exactly how it's meant to be, but then there's also the shot of. It's not up there, but I don't know how you would describe it. It looks almost like a cave with the blue liquid flowing through it.
I didn't see that.
There, yeah. Oh, that it's like
Blue liquid.
fluorescent blue liquid. Yeah,
It's like the pink slime in
your
Ghostbusters 2, but blue.
Your mind can go in many directions on that. But they're showing us that for a reason. They designed concept art for an image like that for a reason. So I am curious as to why that location is important and what that substance is, because I have a feeling it means something. What are you thinking, Ellis?
A lot of times when you go to a comic book convention, you can buy one print for like $20, or they'll give you a deal. If you buy 5, you can get some at a discounted rate. That's what I'm doing because I love all of these pictures. I love that Black Panther stands the exact same way that I do when I get out of the shower in the morning. Just like, yeah, ready for battle. Am I going to shave? Probably not. He's ready for action. My favorite Black Panther image, though, is the one that kind of looks like the Jedi Council. They're all like a bunch of luminaries sitting around. There's a Black Panther in the corner, like guarding everybody. It looks so cool. I cannot wait to see this movie. So steeped in mystery. And then some of this Thor Ragnarok stuff we actually got to see at Comic-Con when they did that behind-the-scenes presentation of Thor Ragnarok. So I was already over the moon about this stuff, getting to see it again and getting to share it with all the rest of the fans out there. It's a good day to be a Marvel fan.
I get out of the shower like Hela. I'm just going to control the world. Jeremy, who do you get out of the shower like, Hela or Black Panther?
Oh, I hella get out of that shower, I'll tell you that. Like, hella good. Because every time you guys say hella, it sounds like you're going to be like when you were like, I saw some, like the concept art, I saw some hella concept. I was like, oh, you mean the person, not like hella cool concepts. I thought you were going there. I really like the Black Panther stuff, though, I'm like you guys said, because Black Panther, what we've seen of Black Panther, or what we've seen of Wakanda anyway, is some ships that are in a dried up beach. And then we saw some people in suits and ties, and we didn't really get the jungle element to it. And this is like, oh, okay, this is straight up like, there's some tribal pyramid mazes that may or may not have a minotaur in the middle of it. And then you have Ellis in the shower right there standing like he's all rad, like he's all standing hella cool.
I'm totally
then,
clean. Irish Spring, baby.
Irish Spring is the best. You cut it with a knife like the 90s commercials.
It just wakes you up when you smell it.
That happened in the 90s. I'm old as fuck. But these look really cool. They really do. And it's the Black Panther stuff that makes me really, really jacked for it, because I'm glad that we get to see that element of Black Panther that's not only Black Panther, but it looks different than anything we've seen in the MCU so far. That's the kind of stuff, it gets me hyped. And I agree with you. You know, these producers, they put all this stuff out there and they're like, they don't know what they're looking at, but it's all really important. And after we watch the movie, we're going to know.
Can I just add an extra little sweaty element?
Oh, yeah.
That picture of Thor fighting Hulk, Thor is finally wearing his goddamn helmet. After years.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
I was like, can he just wear the helmet? Even in one action scene, as a super Thor nerd, that always bothered me. It's not that it didn't look, he looked great regular, but I was like, finally.
The last
also,
time
Hulk has
we've
a
seen
fun
the
Hulk
Thor
armor.
helmet on screen in action is when the girl from Adventures in Babysitting is wearing it in 1987.
Yes.
And Vincent D'Onofrio, who was also Kingpin.
Oh.
Thor and Kingpin.
Oh my God, deep cuts.
All right. What's next, Ashley?
Dwayne Johnson has announced via his Instagram account that Vince Vaughn has joined the cast of the real-life wrestling comedy drama Fighting with My Family. Vaughn will portray an 80s wrestling star who's lost all his money and squandered his opportunities. He joins Lena Headey and Nick Frost, along with The Rock, in a story about a reformed gangster and former wrestler who makes a living performing in tiny venues across the country. The film will start principal photography in Los Angeles and London this month. No release date has been set. Mark Barisell, Vince Vaughn joining The Rock and Fighting with My Family.
Ashley, you took a very confusing premise and you simplified it for me, where I just have to answer if I buy Vince Vaughn joining this production, where I'm not really sure who's playing who or what exactly it's about, who the star is. But if you tell me that Vince Vaughn is playing a has-been 80s wrestler, having to come back to prominence, do some things that are a little unsavory, there's going to be some drama, there's going to be some comedy, there's going to be some fight scenes, I'm going to buy it. I'm a huge Vince Vaughn fan. Even though he hasn't had the greatest movies come out recently, I always enjoy his on-screen presence, his charisma. He has a lot of personality. Something like this, he can add a little bit of heart to it as well, possibly. I love the cast. I love The Rock, Lena Headey, Nick Frost. This is going to be a fun movie. I hope so, with a little bit of that emotional pull on the heartstrings. I'll give it a buy.
Yeah, I had watched most of the documentary that this was based on, and based on what I saw in the documentary, I buy it because I like that story. I like those people, and their journey is very interesting. When you put all these other elements and you start to call it a comedy drama, that's where I start to get confused, because they have very funny interactions with each other. There could be comedy there, but it's still a serious family story where, you know, at one point the sister gets into the WWE and the brother doesn't, and he's torn up about it. There's just some very, you know, serious, real issues there that I hope they don't get too comedic with it. And you know, with Vince Vaughn in the mix, I don't really know where he falls into it, because I think the four people that are in the movie already, they're probably the family. But given what I know of the real story, I think I can get behind this. I just hope that they don't put the focus on the comedy and not the drama. Jeremy, what do you think?
Yeah, that was one of my problems with the movie Pain and Gain. It's like this real movie that the Michael Bay went, oh, let's do more comedy. It's like, that's a real story. People died. Like, people are in jail, so I found that a little upsetting. I know what you're saying in terms of, for something like this, because that was a very convoluted premise. I'm not going to lie. I'm glad Ellis got all of it, and I'm glad you saw the documentary. I can springboard off of what you say, because I was going to say what Ellis said and move on. But life has comedy in it, you know? So I hope they concentrate on the drama. They show us the seriousness of it. But all of these guys, Lena Headey has always been villainous, like, except for 300. Like, 300's the thing, right?
And The Purge.
And The Purge. And
She's not villainous.
She's in The Purge.
She's a loving
she's
mother.
in The Purge. She's in The Purge. But you know what I mean, is that she plays a villain very well. So I want to see what she does in here. But The Rock and Vince Vaughn can both do drama and comedy, and hopefully not overdo the comedy to where it overshadows the drama. You can hit that Goldilocks zone of real story that is funny because life is absurd. Just ask Mark Ellis.
I wanted to see a movie called The Goldilocks Zone.
Dude, I always use that term. It's
That's
the perfect,
good.
like, right there. It's
I
like,
was
oh,
never
the
aware
Goldilocks.
of that term.
Yeah.
Now I might use
I would
it all
see
the
that
time.
movie. What is? I don't even know what it's about. It's intriguing. What is the Goldilocks?
It's kind of
zone?
like what DiCaprio was in The Revenant, where he got attacked by a bear, so he was in the Goldilocks zone. He was laying down, a bear found him, started ripping his guts out. That's the Goldilocks zone, and you don't want to be in there because it's a lot scarier than the danger zone.
I don't even believe Ellis, but now I believe him.
You know that-
even though I don't believe
You know Goldilocks and the Three Bears, not too hot, not too cold, just right?
just in the middle.
Goldilocks zone, right
Yeah.
where it's
So
perfect.
it's really the porridge zone.
Yeah, it's the porridge zone, that Goldilocks
Okay.
kind
After
of
a savage bear attack, I'm going to buy this mainly not because of Vince Vaughn, who I love. I love the entire cast. Nick Frost, Lena Headey's incredible. The Rock can do no wrong, but I'm buying it because of Steve Merchant, who's writing and directing it. Now, that guy's a super talent. He's a behind-the-scenes guy. He's worked with Ricky Gervais in almost every single one of the BBC series, from The Office, all of Ricky Gervais's best stuff. He's recently been acting a lot. He's actually in Logan. As playing a character called Caliban, but where his true talent shines is as a writer and as a director. So that to me makes me feel like, even though what the documentary is serious, I think he'll be able to imbue it with some humorous elements.
But Stephen Merchant and Ricky Gervais, the things that they've been working on recently definitely have a sense of humor, but there's also more of a dramatic touch than what you would expect given their careers leading up to this point. So it lends itself to something like what Perry's saying, that she wants to see a primarily dramatic kind of movie.
Well, there's always pathos involved with it. That's so funny, the comedy tragedy, which they love milking as much as possible, and this is it's filled with milk. This
Milk and porridge.
Yeah.
Well, if that wasn't a good tease for this concept, I don't know what is. All right, Ashley, let's move on to the story that I've been waiting for.
Focus World has released a new clip from the movie Raw. Set in the midst of freshman year, the movie follows Justine through her induction to the Wild Veterinary School through a series of rough hazing rituals, including the ingestion of a rabbit kidney. The piece of flesh changes everything for the virginal vegetarian Justine, and she finds herself faced with more than one newfound carnal desire, including a hunger for human flesh. The movie opens in select theaters on March 10th. Perri, buy or sell the new clip for Raw.
Blame this all on Jeremy. It's always Jeremy's fault. So I am really excited about this story, mainly because I had the pleasure of seeing Raw last year, and this is a really, really good movie. I don't care if you're not a genre fan. This is a movie for everybody. So when this premiered at TIFF, the big story was, oh, everybody fainted because it's so gross. That automatically makes you think a certain thing, that this is going to be, body horror and stuff that's going to gross you out and make you pass out. It has some of that in it because obviously it's about, people who eat things you shouldn't.
Cannibals.
Well, there you go. But at the same time, it's also it's a great family drama. It's a great coming of age story. There's some great relationship material in there. This thing works well on so many different levels. So don't let those TIFF stories make your expectations a certain way. Actually, fine. Think that, because when you go into the movie, you are going to be just shocked at how well this works all around. And with this clip in particular, I was a little nervous when it started because I was wondering where it was going to end. Because, most people who aren't aware of a foreign film might look at, two people mushing themselves together with body paint and say kind of what someone said to me earlier, like, oh, it's just some like artsy foreign film. And then all of a sudden you get that little hook at the end. And that little hook is something that sticks. And it is almost like a high concept idea that sticks in someone's head and makes them think that this could be something special like I've never seen before. The facial expressions happening at this table are cracking me up right now, particularly Jeremy's. What do you think of this one? Oh, no, don't do it.
Can't even do it. But yeah, I'm glad you saw it. I'm glad you could fill us all in. Because when I saw the clip, I was like, all right. So these two are getting down with body paint. Never done that before, so it gives me fresh new ideas. I think that's great. But and then you're right though. In the end, it hooks you, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm kind of interested. Don't know if I'd be so interested, but you were really selling this thing hard. And that makes me interested because I thought that too. I found out the premise and I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be just some like Eli Roth Gorno nonsense. You know what I mean? It's just going to be just like, oh, let's see if we can't make people throw up in the movie theater because that's shock, and shock is talent, which, I see it as different. And then you saying, no, it's a coming of age story. It's a family dynamic, and I find that interesting. As someone who loves a nice medium rare to rare steak, I'm interested in seeing what this movie does to my head. I'll see you all at Wood Ranch later on.
How you feeling about this one, Ellis?
The porridge is running hot, Perry, but I will give it a buy because I'm intrigued. Like what you said, you watch the clip and it's like, what am I getting myself into? And then you start to get interested. You want to know more about this movie. I'm not sure that it's going to be completely my cup of tea. Everything you're telling me seems to indicate it would be. I just want to know, so are rabbits a gateway drug for cannibals? Like, is that, if you dude, I'm just going to try a rabbit, man. I just want a little bit of rabbit when I come home after a long day to take the edge off. Then the next thing you know, you're on the street corner eating human flesh.
A little bit of the long pig. Just try the rabbit first.
Yeah, see, the DARE program didn't brace us for all of this, any of this. I'm telling you that right there.
Schnepp, you going to check this out? Yes, you are.
You know what? I went to art school. So let's just say, I've seen a lot of naked people covered in paint, powders, all kinds of weird shit. So
I did not go to art school, and I've seen a lot of naked people covered in paint.
When this clip started, and Perry's been talking about Raw for a while, and I read the premise. It's not like a spoiler, like I said, cannibal. It's like he spoiled it. It says it in the premise. But I've been waiting to see this film because it's been getting a lot of good buzz, especially from critics that I respect. They're like, you got to see this. So I've been looking forward to it. This clip, when it started, I was like, some art school shit. God damn it. A bunch of blue and green people all rubbing around. So what's going to happen? And then it really is worth it. Watch it all the way to the end, and you'll get that reaction that we're talking about because it's an unexpected reaction, and it's worth it. And if the rest of the movie has that kind of flavor, then I can't wait to see it.
All right, Ashley, I know you watched it.
I did.
What'd you think?
I did. It was intense. When I first started to watch the first clip, I was thinking, why isn't the paint on their body becoming greener? And that's where my focus was. But then it caught me at the end, and I was like, wow, I want more from this. So I went back to go look at the other clips, and I was like, hell no, this is some crazy shit right there. And to get into school by eating a rabbit kidney, frankly, I don't know if I would have ever went to college if that was a requirement. But
it's easier than math.
It might be easier than that. And this is coming from someone who, one of my favorite movies is Saw. Like, I'm down with gory movies, but I think the animal thing is what's getting me, but I still want to see it because I've never seen a premise like this. I'm intrigued by it.
As someone who is very sensitive to anything bad happening to animals, the fact that this movie gets such a big pass in my book,
Yeah, must be something.
it's that good.
I think this is the greatest Ziploc bag promo ever for the yellow and blue make green sale. I'm just saying, like, this is genius for them. They should run with that. Ziploc, you are welcome.
There are some continuity issues though with the paint. I agree with you, Ashley.
Yeah,
I started watching those. Weren't they just
greener,
rubbing all up on each other? Now he's still green. He's got to have some of that blue on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Wendy, did the paint issues stick out to you, or were you focused on the story and what was happening in the clip?
It did stick out to me. I was like, so they're supposed, like, how long did they have to spend in this room to make everything green? And then I zoomed in on, because obviously other people were in the room before them, so I started to focus on, like, the paint splatters on the wall, and I was like, that's not really green either, so they didn't really accomplish what they.
These are true production people right here,
Yellow
folks.
and
This is
blue
what
makes
happens. But, like, the
green.
continuity
But I
is
will
all off
say
of
this,
the
I'm glad I
splats.
watched till the end, because that got me, and I'm still not 100% sold on this movie, but that little tidbit, and then with Perry's continuous persuasion of me wanting to, see this movie,
Yeah.
I probably will go see it. Plus, we shot a fun little Instagram video
That's
yesterday.
so true. I almost forgot about
Yeah.
that. That was the best finger I've ever eaten.
I saw that. I saw that Instagram. Was that an edible finger?
No, it was. It came in a box, and I thought it was like a rubber prop.
Right, that's what I thought it was.
In the video, I touched it, and inside, when you break it apart, it's chocolate cake in the middle, so it looks like an
that's
infected
weird. She
finger.
came into our office yesterday and she was like, does anybody want the rest of this finger? And I'm like, no. And it was like a bloody finger right there. It was delicious.
It came
Well,
in a
I
very
told
nice
you it was delicious, and you all passed on it.
You should
so
have taken a bite. It was good.
yeah, if they manufactured those things like Hostess cupcakes or something, I would probably buy them.
The
and eat
people
them.
who are making this cool, like, gimme swag stuff from Raw, please send 5 more boxes to Collider Video, and we'll eat your fingers.
Oh, good Valentine's Day promo right there. All right, let's move on to our next story.
Annapurna Pictures has announced that Robert Downey Jr. will team with Boyhood director Richard Linklater on an untitled feature based on the episode Man of the People from Gimlet Media's Reply All podcast. The movie will tell the true story of charlatan Dr. John Brinkley, who scams his way to fame and fortune using fake medicine, populism, and the newest technology of the time, radio. As Brinkley's fame grows, he gets the attention of Dr. Morris Fishbein, editor of the AMA, who begins a decade-long quest to take him down. Downey Jr. will produce the film alongside Susan Downey and Annapurna's Megan Ellison, with Linklater co-producing as well. A release date has yet to be determined. Mark Barisell, Robert Downey Jr. directed by Richard Linklater.
I buy everybody listening to the Reply All podcast, and this is a crazy true story that I think is going to be very interesting anyway. And when you add Robert Downey Jr. in front of the camera and Richard Linklater directing it, this is perfect. I mean, this went on for a decade with this guy who's trying to take down. He knows he's a fraud. He knows he's a fake, but it's not like we have modern technology as we do today. He's listening to this crap come through the radio, so it's a lot harder to track somebody down and call them out on their BS. This is going to be a really cool movie. There's going to be little elements of humor. It's going to be dramatic. It's going to be intense. I can't wait to see this.
There's really no better casting for this role than Robert Downey Jr. This guy is a scam artist. He does crazy stuff, and he's a talker. And if we know anything about Robert Downey Jr., he can play smooth talking characters so well, and that's going to work here. And then as I was listening to the podcast, I kept picturing Paul Giamatti as Fishbein. Nice. I thought, yeah, and to see the two of them go head to head might be kind of fun, but this is a batshit story. I can't believe that stuff like this happened. I mean, you listen to the podcast, right?
Oh, yeah.
You
Reply All
know
is great.
the beginning of it. What he does to start his little empire is he convinces people that he can cure them of impotence. I'm waiting for Mova's reaction to this by giving them goat testicles.
Oh, so you eat goat
She's
testicles.
she's not even
care.
picking her head
No,
up.
she's
Look
focused,
at that.
man.
Yeah.
It's like when somebody in the front row is just on their phone. I think
What's happening over there?
so great.
Wait, so what? Are you guys talking to me?
We're totally talking
testicles over
to
here.
Yeah. Mova, you missed your shining moment.
What are you guys saying?
Were you Googling goat testicles and whether they cure impotence?
I was Googling this episode of Reply All that I really love, and I was trying to figure out what it was called. Thank you guys.
It's really good. It's
You
really
should
good.
Called goat testicles.
You should probably listen to this one. You
50%
might get
of
a kick
the
out of
jobs
it.
in the laptop, 50% is on camera, Mova.
All right, Jeremy, what do you think about this?
I think this sounds great. Honestly, this sounds like a Milos Forman movie or something like that. You know, like very One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or People versus Larry Flint. I'm buying this for sure. Like you said, Robert Downey Jr. If there is someone who's going to be a scam artist on the radio, played by an actor, it's going to be Robert Downey Jr. playing him. This is a great cast, great premise. The fact that it's a true story intrigues me more. Like if this was some fictional thing, I'd be like, yeah, it sounds interesting. But the fact that it happened, I don't know anything about it. I don't listen to the podcast, so I want to see how it happens. I want to see the progression, what happens. This dude took 10 years to take. I've never been infatuated with anything for 10 years in my entire life except Chrono Trigger. And that's a lifelong obsession, friends. A lifelong obsession. I want to see this movie.
Looking forward to this, Schnepp?
Don't forget about Dune.
And Dune. You're right. A lot of movies and games.
Yeah.
But anything else.
I'm excited to see this. Yeah, the 10-year thing is what really got me, is like less infatuation, more like a dogged persistence.
Right.
You know, like I am going to prove you wrong. It sounds great, and also getting someone like Linklater attached. I mean, he's a great director, and he could transform that material and make it really interesting. So I'm 100% into this.
All right, now we're going to move on to our Crash Course video of the week. It is a crash course on the character Miles Morales. Dave Griffin hosted it, and he did an incredible job. Dave Trumbore did a great job writing the script from Collider.com, so let's check it out now.
Sony's untitled animated Spider-Man project may not have a logo, a cast, or even a log line yet, but it does have a lead character, Peter Parker. Wait, sorry, force of habit, Miles Morales. The relatively new character in the Wall Crawlers canon will make his big screen debut in animated form, marking a very exciting time for the Spider-Man franchise. Never heard of Miles Morales before? Don't worry, Collider Crash Course has you covered. Before we jump into Miles' story, let's take a look at Spider-Man's other alter egos. Most famous of all is Peter Parker, the original creation of writer-editor Stan Lee and writer-artist Steve Ditko back in August of 1962. But other characters have taken on the mantle of Spider-Man on Earth 616 over the years, like the clone Ben Reilly, the imposter Matt Gargan, the obsessed Brian Cornfield, J. Jonah Jameson's niece Maddie Franklin, the ancient Peruvian deity I Apic, and the body-swapping Dr. Octopus. In the multiverse, there were also the son of Spider-Woman, Jerry Drew, yet another Peter Parker clone, the Elizabethan-era Scottish hero Peter Parquois, geneticist Miguel O'Hara, the 23rd century Spider-Man, a body-swapping Bruce Banner, the West African god Anansi, the British Billy Braddock, a Japanese boy named Izumi, an Indian village boy named Pavatir Prabhakar, a spider-monkey Spider-Man, and even a zombie Spider-Man. Woo, the list goes on and on. The reason we mention the multiverse is because that's where Miles Morales got his start. Specifically in the Ultimate Universe, or Earth 1610, created by writer Brian Michael Bendis and artist Sarah Pacelli. The 16-year-old Brooklyn teenager made his debut in Ultimate Fallout #4 in October of 2011. The son of an African-American father and a Puerto Rican mother, Miles showed an early aptitude for science, which led to him winning the final spot in a charter school lottery. It's during a visit to his Uncle Aaron's apartment that he ends up getting bitten by one of the genetically altered spiders. But how, you might ask? Well, it turns out that Miles' uncle is the cat burglar known as the Prowler, who broke into the abandoned Oscorp facility to steal the Oz formula, which was created using Peter Parker's spider blood. One of the altered spiders managed to crawl into the Prowler's duffel bag, and you can probably figure out how it went from there. Miles Morales got spider powers, and really, who wouldn't want spider powers? But Miles had no desire to become Spider-Man at first, especially since Peter Parker was still swinging around, until he wasn't. After the death of Spider-Man at the hands of the Green Goblin, Miles was racked with guilt over not using his powers to help his hero. He kept his powers a secret from his parents, but confided in his best friend, Genki Lee, who encouraged him to become the new Spider-Man, and happens to look a lot like Spider-Man Homecoming's Jacob Batalon. Gwen Stacy's story of Peter Parker's heroic sacrifice also inspired Miles to take up costume crime fighting, but fellow hero Spider-Woman soon unmasked him and took him to S.H.I.E.L.D. and Nick Fury. Luckily for Miles, with Peter Parker gone, the good guys could sure use a new Spider-Man. Fury put him to work tracking down Electro and rewarded his efforts with a new black and red spider suit for a job well done. He went on to have meetups with Earth 616 Spider-Man and Peter Parker's friends and family, while clashing with villains like Kangaroo, Venom, and even Galactus. The Secret War storyline then merged the Ultimate Universe with the Marvel 616, putting Miles Morales under the mentorship of a living but retired Peter Parker and allowing him to become Spider-Man in earnest in a solo series that launched in 2016. He's also a main player in the Civil War II storyline and has formed a new group, the Champions, alongside Miss Marvel. Morales' Spider-Man shares most of Peter Parker's powers, with the exception of a slightly weaker spider sense and the added abilities of camouflage and a paralyzing venom sting. Many praise the creation of an African-American and Hispanic Spider-Man. Stan Lee himself said, doing our bit to try to make our nation and the world colorblind is definitely the right thing. Morales has appeared in animated form before on the Disney XD series Ultimate Spider-Man, voiced by both Donald Glover and Ogie Banks, and as a playable character in numerous video games. However, he's never had the lead role until now. Here's what we know about this untitled animated Spider-Man movie at the moment. Co-director of the Lego movie and upcoming Han Solo movie, Phil Lord, will write the script, which is being directed by first-time feature director Bob Persichetti alongside Peter Ramsey, who directed Rise of the Guardians. It'll be a standalone story with a lot of heart, a lot of action, and a lot of laughs that tells Miles Morales' tale. The untitled Sony film is due to open December 21st, 2018. What we don't know is who will voice Miles Morales or any of the other major roles in the film. We're sure you have some thoughts on that, so share them in the comment section below. And for more information on the popular franchises, major characters, and most anticipated upcoming new releases in the superhero realm, keep an eye out for new Crash Course videos right here on the Collider Video YouTube channel.
So you can catch new Crash Course videos every Sunday right here on the YouTube channel. We also have so many other things dropping. Like today at 1 p.m. PST, Collider Nightmares is going live. We have Karin Kusama joining us on the show. She directed The Invitation. She directed Jennifer's Body. So that's going to be great. Watch that. We also had Heroes drop yesterday. There's also the Team Championship between Tween Trek. Team Trek and
I like
Team
Tween Check better.
Can we create a new Schmodown team?
I would like to. I'm joining officially Tween Check.
This
and
is
I'm going to beat everyone.
This is probably the perfect time to pass our next Schmodown plug over to Mr. Mark Ellis.
Well, Team Twek took on Team Heroes. No, it's not Team Heroes, it's the Patriots. The Patriots took on Team Trek yesterday for the Team Championship. We're in the midst of Championship Week here at the Movie Trivia Schmodown, and today we have a special vid dropping. It's going to be the top 10 rankings for both teams and singles. Christian Harloff is going to be hosting that. Within that vid, Josh McCouga is also going to be making a very special announcement. There's a lot of controversy circling around him and one of his former competitors. You guys are going to have to tune in to find out exactly what is going down. Plus, Christian Harloff will have an interview with both Dan Murrell and John the Outlaw Roca. Of course, they are going head-to-head for the singles title this Friday. So make sure you guys stay tuned to Collider Video for all the Schmodown mayhem that's going to be happening later on today.
And that's not all. We've also got a brand new episode of Awesome-tacular with that guy over there. You can find the link to the latest episode in the show notes. And then we also have an update on our polls here. We had Regina George beat Simon Gruber. The final count was 56% to 44% of your votes. So she's making it into the tournament. I see Wendy doing a little dance over there. There we go. So tomorrow we're going to put up another poll. That one's going to be John Kreese from Karate Kid versus Stripe from Gremlins. I know who I'm voting for. Yeah, Schnepp, you got it.
I'm going with Stripe too, I think.
Yeah? All right,
Yeah.
well, hopefully you guys all vote like we want you to.
Yes.
No,
Don't
just,
be stupid.
just vote however you
for
feel.
Stripe. That's what we're trying to say.
All right, so we also want to let you know that we're going to take some of your live Twitter questions soon. So tweet those in right now to at Collider Video. I was about to say the Gmail. That wouldn't have worked. So Wendy's going to pick some great questions, and we are going to answer that after Mailbag. So right now, it's Mailbag time. Ashley, what's our first question?
Johnny writes, "Hey Collider crew, I'm a big fan of music based on biopics such as Walk the Line, Great Balls of Fire, and The Doors. Not including the upcoming Freddie Mercury film, what other bands or musicians would you like to see a film based upon? My suggestion would be The Who. Thanks to CSI, their music is insanely recognizable, and they have a very interesting history when you look into it. Thanks for taking my question, and keep up the good work." And I meant instantly, not insanely recognizable, although that would work too.
Yeah, it works. I don't know, because when I think about musicians that I like and I would want to see their story at the same time, unless I do my research, I don't know if their story would even be interesting. But the first person that came to my mind that I think would work is probably Bob Marley. And I know the Weinstein Company tried to do that a little while ago, and I feel like they announced it and then just nothing happened. I don't know what happened. And it's probably only a matter of time before we get something like a Beyonce movie. And actually, like Kanye too. I would love to see someone try to capture and convey what is going on inside that dude's head.
Right. Make him all like super humble.
I don't know. I want like cuckoo crazy pants Kanye. Yeah, I want full Kanye.
But, like there had to have been a point in the guy's childhood where he wasn't Kanye as we know him. So that's what the good thing about biopics is, that transformation from from childhood to adulthood.
He really transformed when he got his face smashed and he was like mouth wired shut and he wrote that album. I think that's when he went from one Kanye West into another. It was a transformative thing. So
that would actually probably be a good story now that we're talking about it.
Yeah, the Beach Boys is one, but I know John Cusack played Brian Wilson in a movie a couple years ago now.
Love and Mercy.
Love and Mercy.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's like 2 years ago, I think.
Because Brian Wilson, the guy, he has some issues, and not a lot of people know that. I suppose more people
Come
now
on,
do.
smile.
Right? But Cobain would be another interesting one. Maybe that's just the Seattle in me, but I want to know, again, that dude's like mind and how he went... He became the, quote, John Lennon of grunge, so I want to see how that happens. So that's what I got, yeah.
I would love to see Nirvana, not just Cobain, or even something like about the Seattle scene. But it's like once you get too big, once you start covering multiple bands, it becomes more... You don't get to focus in on the specific character. So Nirvana would be great. My pick, I'm not going to take yours because I know what Ellis wants. But let me say, I would love to see a biopic on the Police. That would be fantastic. What an amazing way those guys all came together from disparate sources of music to create that distinctive sound. I'd like to see Black Sabbath, like all the back and forths with Ozzy. And then I would also love to see Judas Priest. That would be fantastic. Their ups and downs. So, of course, everybody would like to see the Rolling Stones. I could go on. But, Ellis, what is the one that we know you're going to say,
what
baby?
What do you think is the one I'm going to say?
Van Halen, motherfucker!
The greatest hard rock band of all time. My favorite band. And I am not taking Van Halen by any stretch of the imagination, because sometimes you get too close to a band and you just don't want to see it on screen because you know it's just not going to live up to what the real story is. The one I am going to take, if you want to do like a Netflix series, I think Fleetwood Mac is a great band.
Ooh,
to
good
go through all
call.
the ups and downs, the sexual intrigue that went on behind that band when they were making rumors before and afterwards, their rise back to prominence in the early 90s. The movie I'd like to see the most, it's not going to make you a crap ton of money at the box office, but it's a super dark, interesting story. Is there is a Norwegian metal band called Mayhem. And Mayhem, they started out in the mid-'80s and everything was going well. Tragically, their lead singer committed suicide in the early 90s, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. A couple years later, one of the former band members murdered their current guitarist. And there's still more drama to be told with this band. It's an incredible hard rock epic journey into darkness, and I think a Mayhem movie would kick ass.
Can I say that is actually in production right now?
Is it really?
Yeah. Huh. I've known about it for years, and it's gone from different rights holders. It's based on a very famous book. I'm a big metalhead, black metal especially, so that is actually in production right now.
Really? It makes sense. Then also, I always stump for a Robert Johnson biopic every time I get the chance, because he's famously sold his soul to the devil at the Crossroads down south so he could play guitar great, and that's where we get the song Crossroads from. Amazing, sad journey of a true blues pioneer.
Not a band, but do we have any movies about film composers?
Someone should make the
Mr.
early
Holland's Opus,
the John Williams story
no.
before he ever scored
really.
Star Wars, like just the early days of John
struggles.
Williams. Yeah,
Right.
I would
that'd
like
be
to
great.
see that.
I mean, because he's done so many soundtracks that all of us can hum at the drop of a hat. He's one of the most world-renowned composers. I would love to see his story.
All right, Ashley, what do we have next?
Dean Jones writes, "Hello, everyone. Greetings from Wales. With Hot Fuzz turning 10 years old today here in the UK, are there any other genres that you would like to see Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright do for a movie? We've had horror and rom-com, Shaun of the Dead, buddy action comedy, Hot Fuzz, and sci-fi, The World's End. A spy comedy would be great. Thanks for taking my question, and keep up the great work that you do."
You know what word was in that question quite a bit? comedy. I'd be really curious to see what happens if we take out the comedy and, I don't know, give them something else to do.
Yeah.
That's clearly what they're best at. And I love all three of those movies. I would not be opposed to them doing more of what they do very well. However, you know, given Get Out and the new Halloween news, I don't know. I'd be curious to see what they would do in a completely different genre.
I was going to say, take out the comedy and you get Paul. Oh. Yeah, that's right, baby. You heard it right.
That was
the
a
big
good
dud.
delayed reaction to that.
God, Paul was okay.
Yeah, it kind of sucked. But you know what? Bam. The other three are fantastic, and you ruined it because you said, I'd prefer a spy movie. Don't answer the question when you're asking us a question. I'd like to see those guys take on a spy movie, son.
Oh, he took your answer.
Yeah.
So you're
Well,
on
he's
the
like,
same
don't
page.
ask a question, then say what you're thinking. You ruin it. That's just a question 101 thing for you.
I'm still melting down at the fact that Hot Fuzz turned 10 years old.
Really?
Oh man, I remember seeing that in theaters. All great answers from Perri and Jon Schnepp. I'm gonna say what you guys say because that's a very it's a very narrow scope answer. If it's been answered, it's been answered. You both answered it. Good job. Hot Fuzz is 10 years old. Oh my God.
Ellis, do you want to share our answer, or do you have one of your own?
I'm gonna take my
sharing
own.
my
I'm gonna
answer.
have independent thought here. I'm gonna get up on my soapbox. I'm gonna steal a little bit from the last question. I like to see them do like a music biopic, like something like Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, except funnier and better promoted, and actually something that gets into theaters and people want to go see. I think these guys could pull it off well. A lot of the same vein that Ricky Gervais just had a really good one come out recently. So maybe they can all team up and make something fun together.
I love Ellis's answer.
That was a good one.
All right, so if you want us to answer your questions on the show and steal your answers if you put them in your question, send them on over to collidervideo@gmail.com, and maybe they'll pop up on this show, or maybe they'll pop up on Mailbag on the weekend. We shall see. All right, let's move on to our Twitter questions. Wendy, what do we got?
The first one comes from Robbie Haskell, who writes, why do a majority of Best Picture winners carry an R rating? Does a rating carry that much weight with the Academy?
I never
Is that
thought of
true?
it that way. Yeah. I'd like to see the stats.
Yeah, I'd be very curious to look up the stats for that.
Yeah.
There's obviously a few R-rated films that have come out over the years that have been highly lauded by the Academy, but I don't think that it's that way every year. As a matter of fact, I think usually a Best Picture winner is going to fall into the PG-13 ranking, at least since 1984 when that ranking was initiated. And I think before that it was probably more on the side of PG than it was R movies.
You remember do you know the first PG-13 movie?
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Nope. That was the one that got the rating talked about, but the first one.
Ah, damn it. I know this.
Explorers. Just kidding.
Nice.
I don't know.
Nice reference, though.
Wow. This actually isn't
Poltergeist? I
that
don't know.
crazy of a question.
Guys,
Dawn.
the reason
Red
that
Dawn.
Academy members love sex and violence and tons of fucking nudity. That's
know-
why they.
you know what I would
that's
honestly
Oscar
argue?
R-rated.
You know what I would argue is that an R rating gives the freedom to tell everything that might need to be told about a story. You're not hamstrung. You're not kind of shackled down because, you can't say or do this because it's rated PG-13. R ratings like, do what you need to do to get the story told, in that a story becomes more gritty and real. Because that's what I loved about Stranger Things review coming, is that the kids cursed. And whenever they make a kids adventure movie like Goonies, it never feels like Goonies these days because kids don't curse in those movies, and kids curse when there are no adults around. It's just the reality of the situation. So I would argue that R rating movies allow a movie to be a little more real.
Briefly being able to look some of them up, in the last 4 years, all 4 were rated R. Spotlight, Birdman, 12 Years a Slave, and Argo. So I look forward to seeing La La Land beat that trend, because that's a
rated R.
PG-13.
Moonlight,
Yeah.
it's an R-rated movie versus a PG-13 movie for
Just
the title.
like
so.
I'm betting on Beauty and the Beast not getting 200 million opening
man.
weekend, I am putting my money on La La
I
Land.
think it's up for 14. I think it's going to get 12, if not 13, if not 14. It's going to sweep it.
going,
It's a sweep.
Yeah.
going 6, 7, 8.
Right.
I don't know. I think I've come down to 10 or 11. Yeah, we'll see. All right, Wendy, let's move on to the next one.
The next question comes from Lieutenant Dan 14, who writes, over or under 40% that Marvel Studios acquire the Fantastic Four rights in the next 2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
That's a very slim margin. Under 40% for 2 years.
I'm going to say over 40%. Phase 4. What's up, son?
Yeah, I'm going to say over 40%
Phase
too,
four.
because by that time they're going to be gearing up for what comes after Infinity War. And even if they're not necessarily thrilled about getting the Fantastic Four, those 4 superheroes, there's a lot of other things in that universe that they may want, like the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go over as well, especially if Spider-Man Homecoming works out really well for Marvel and Sony. Maybe that arrangement will make them think maybe we could work together.
Yeah, I think Fox will be like, that's money. Yeah, they're going to be like, oh, that tastes really good as opposed to the failures. So.
We're going to make $1 gazillion.
Right.
Yep.
Metric gazillion.
All right, Wendy, what's the next one?
Kyle Miller writes, what do you like to do on your days off from Collider or Schmoes?
I like
Weekend
Nothing.
days off.
Nothing.
I like
pauses.
sitting at home on my weekends, binging Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh, yeah.
Schnepp, you look like you had an answer,
That's
and
it.
now you
Got a
didn't.
couple of answers. What's up? Go do a bunch of stuff, things, shuffle around the streets and stuff. Hang out
It
with
sounds
people.
so boring.
You know what's funny is I really am a homebody. It really is true. People are like, let's go out and do that thing. And on a special occasion, I will. Like Ellis was like, hey, come down to the Comedy Store. And I was like, haven't done that with you in a while. Let's do that. It was a lot of fun. But a lot of times I'm like, oh, I love days off. Let's just stare at the TV and just do nothing. And I really just like
real
relaxing.
answers, real questions. It's like I love going to museums. We go see movies. We go out to comedy shows. We do a lot of things. We just go out and do a lot. It's fun to go out and do real world things. And then,
See, I'm not on that train. I like to stay at home and take a nap. Yeah, I nap. I tell jokes. I nap some more. I would say I drink, but I drink a lot when I'm at work too, so that's not really different.
I was talking to my grandmother, who I call my Nana, yesterday, and she asked me on the phone, I swear to God this happened yesterday, she goes, do you have any friends outside of work? Do you do anything besides seeing movies? How do you have time to meet people outside of your industry? This went on for a while, and it made me feel bad. And then
you should have been like straight up, Grandma, how dare you ask me these kinds of questions? What are you doing? Just flip it on her.
Oh my God.
What did it come to some sort of nice
How's that
resolution
tapioca
between
pudding,
you and Nana?
Granny?
The resolution came to me telling her that it was a good idea for her to see Get Out.
Yes.
And we were
So you
both-
flipped it.
We were both pretty satisfied with that answer. She likes horror movies, though, so she really will like Get Out. But I did go see this guy here at a comedy show last weekend at the Ice House, and
How was it?
not to inflate your ego anymore, but I'm dead serious. You are a talented dude.
He's pretty funny.
He wasn't the headliner, but I would have watched your bit for another, I don't know, however long those things
Seeing
can
as we're
go.
putting shines on right now, I went and saw Ellis in New York where he was the headliner, and he fucking crushed it.
Yeah.
He really is funny.
I want
Now
to
you owe
see
me
a
20
show when
bucks.
you are headlining.
I don't do that kind of stuff anymore. I just do slam poetry.
That's right.
More my speed.
Covered in green and blue paint. You're like, oh, look, my body is a weapon.
Ever since I ate that rabbit, I've been feeling a little weird about my life.
I need the long pig.
You guys are very sweet.
All right, Wendy, what's our next Twitter question?
All right, this one comes from Derek Lard, who writes, if Valerian fails, will Luc Besson go back to do a Fifth Element sequel?
That's probably not, but
Weirdly loaded.
Valerian steel is the strongest steel in Westeros, my friend. There's no way that thing ever failed. But as for, he'll probably do other things.
Yeah.
Fifth Element sequel, probably not. I mean, that's like, there's like a 300, 500, a millennium, there's just like a 1,000-year gap between the events of this big evil thing, so I really doubt
The
it.
sixth element. Yeah, it sounds.
Yeah, I would just think the Fifth Element, like the budget you would need to pull off the movie, the way that Luc Besson would want to do it in modern days. I don't know that would be cool with the studio if they entered into their weird little computer and they say, well, there's this much clamor for it. It's going to cost this much money to make. I don't see that happening.
You're more likely to see a Lucy 2 if Valerian fails, so please go see Valerian because we can't have another Lucy.
I'm so glad you threw out Lucy 2 reference, man. I forgot to, and you, yes!
I definitely don't. I don't think that we're ever going to get a sequel. I don't think it's going to happen. And it's definitely not going to happen if Valerian fails. I don't know if this budget is accurate, but I just Googled Valerian budget. What is this creeping into my frame? Oh, there it is. There it is.
So hard. I thought I was gonna like come in right about there and be like, "Arr." It's like you're so far away.
If this Google search is accurate, Valerian had a budget of $180 million.
Yes, it is accurate.
$200 million opening weekend.
They spent
no,
so much
that's
money on
not going to
Valerian.
happen. I will.
And
I will
Besson is
say-
spending most of his own money. That's what I kind of respect the dude on a lot of levels.
That's
He's
right.
like, he's loved this material. It was started out as a European comic, and it's really faithful. And all of the special effects shots, I think it's like 2,500 special effect shots.
it's a crazy number
Yeah.
like that. He is super passionate about it. I wasn't that into the idea of this movie, and then at Comic-Con last year, I've brought this up before, I went to a special footage presentation, and I was very intrigued by what I saw. It looks different and exciting and well done. So I am really looking forward to this. I don't know how many people out there, in terms of the masses, are saying to themselves, "Oh, I'm going to make Valerian a priority in 2017."
It's going to be tough to make its budget back. I'm a huge fan of Dane DeHaan too. Like, I want to see this movie. I just 180 million. That's a tall.
It just
order.
has a weird name. It sounds like a prescription drug. I'm on Valerian. It doesn't sound like a movie.
And the City of 1,000 Planets.
Yeah, drop that part
that's
too.
The rest
That's
of it,
like,
right?
I don't even know where I am. Oh, you're in 1,000 different. Well, no.
All right, let's do one more Twitter question.
Okay, PS4 Elite writes, if you could turn any movie into a Netflix series, what movie would you choose?
Ooh, that's good.
Man.
The Beach Boys biopic coming soon
Love
to
and
Netflix.
Mercy, dude. You got to see Love and Mercy, man. It's fantastic.
That's a really tough question. Anything, any movie.
I don't know about turning an existing movie into a Netflix series, but I still will lobby for a Star Wars Netflix series. I really want live action Star Wars on television, or in the television format. And if it exists anywhere, I want it on Netflix.
I got this right here. Cobster and I were talking about this earlier. We make Resident Evil, reboot it. No, not this. Like Resident Evil 7, the new game.
Yeah.
Super secluded. It's very survival horror. Very like it's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre drawn out, but with more to it. I'm telling you, all the technology and the companies and whatnot, just leave that out. Just make it really. I'm telling you, that could be a nice, creepy 8-episode stretch.
And since Jeremy brought up Resident Evil, I saw the final chapter. If you're a fan of the series like I am, screw off the rest of you people. Go see the final chapter because it is a good ending.
I think I'd like to see, if we're going to go with like current movies in release, I would say the John Wick from the Continental point of view would be a really cool Netflix
so
series.
Good.
It's
Just the Continental.
It just takes place at the hotel. We don't even need to involve the character of John Wick in there. He can just be this like shadowy figure. Maybe comes in for like one scene or like one episode. But I'd like to see all the different goings on in and around that hotel.
Can I just ask for a sword and sorcery Netflix series? I don't care what it is. Beastmaster. We need to get back into that jungle.
There's some suggestions in the chat saying Percy
hear it.
Jackson might be a good one. Watchmen would be a really good one.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Maybe World War Z.
World War Z could be interesting.
Yeah, since where's the second movie? No one
Well-
knows. Netflix.
Yeah, well, I don't know if we're going to get an answer to that anytime
Road
soon.
Warrior, Mad Max as a limited series. That would be kind of cool.
That'd be pretty neat.
I feel like if anything came out and it was like, it's going to happen on Netflix, even if it was a bad idea, just because it's Netflix, I would instantly be intrigued.
Right.
All right. Well, on that note, that's
we
all the time
done?
we got. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I'm 1 minute over, I found.
60
All right.
seconds.
Tried really hard. Didn't work out. All right. Before we wrap up, I want to thank everybody behind the scenes. We got Dennis, Adam, Cody, Riley, all the good guys back there. And then I want to thank my panel as well. Jon Schnepp, where can everyone find you? And Jeremy. Wrong camera.
That's the camera right there. Schnepp, where can people find you,
You
my
can find
man?
me on Twitter and Instagram at Jon Schnepp, crushing people's souls, and check out Nightmare later today.
Yeah, Jeremy.
You can find me on YouTube and Twitter at Jeremy Jahns and pretty much the rest of the internet. You can find my show Awesome-tacular on the Verizon Go 90 network. New episodes dropping Friday. New one dropping this Friday. It's a lot of fun. You can also search the hashtag Perri.
Oh, boy. And Mark Ellis.
Well, after the panelists blew so much smoke up my tuchus, now there's a lot of pressure on me to be good this weekend at the St. Louis Funny Bone. You can take us at markellislive.com. Tonight, Schmoes Know live show hosted by me, and Miss Perri Nemiroff is going to be there as well.
Oh, hey. I'm looking forward to that. All right, Ashley, where can everyone find you?
I'm still blushing over the Perri comment. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Ashley Mova. Happy Wednesday, guys.
And Wendy?
You can find me on YouTube at The Movie Couple channel and on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat at Wendy Lee Zaney.
And you can catch me on Twitter and Instagram at P. Nemiroff, Collider. Okay, fine. And hashtag Perri. Collider Nightmares live today. just can't stop it. Collider Nightmares live, 1 p.m. PST today. Keep an eye out for the brand new Collider behind the scenes, which I will guarantee you will love this Saturday. Have a hella good Wednesday, guys. See you soon.
Bye.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.